How you doing? How you doing? Frankie Russo show, pre-show, 130. Crazy, right? 130. 130 shows, Frankie Russo. We got to help America's team help the men and women of the United States Armed Forces. We got to help the men and women. We got I'm sorry. I'm getting there. We got to help America's team help the men and women of the United States Armed Forces fight post-traumatic stress disorder. We got to do this. Right now the fundraising is slow, but we ain't stopping. Okay, frusso14 at AOL.com. That's my email. You want to help? Send me an email. We got to help America's team help the men and women of the United States Armed Forces fight post-traumatic stress disorder. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, good. Now, I'm going to start with this thing, the model, because I've been doing a lot of thinking about it. Just to give you an idea. I'm going to try to be as explicit as I can. I'm going to be my most explicit. Statistical significance, all right? It's a quasi model. It's a quasi model. It's not like, it's, it's not like I garnered a random sample, I constructed a method, and I did hypothesis testing and all that. No, 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 no. Court papers, judges' decisions, peer-reviewed journal articles, open source, well-researched open source articles. I'm close. We're close over here, 77 WBC. Now, this is how we're going to do this. Fraudulent selective service registration card, statistically significant sheriff's cold case posse. That's one coordinate. Obama, that's the other coordinate. Maps to the Obama Clinton State Department. The United States Constitution is the operator on this. It's like, just to give you an idea, reels to reels. I'm trying to give a quasi physics approach. I'm working on it. So it's like if you had reels to reels, right? The coordinates were 3, 4, 3, 4, mapping to 7. How do you get to 7? How does the range become? How do you go from 3 to 7, the domain to the range of 7? 3, 4, range 7. What's the operator? It's addition. Okay. So here I'm claiming that fraudulent selective service is one fraudulent selective service registration card is one coordinate. Obama is the other coordinate. It maps to the Obama Clinton State Department. The mapping is the U.S. Constitution. That's the operator on this. So now we're in the Obama Clinton State Department. Now the Obama Clinton State Department. Now this range. Now this is it's a load of outputs with, quite frankly, with the State Department, you got the Obama Clinton State Department, you got the unapproved illegal server, you got the Clinton Foundation, which is mapped by a memorandum of understanding signed by Valerie Jarrett and Bill Clinton that attaches the Clinton Foundation to the Obama Clinton State Department. Then you got the State Department server, which is in Hillary Clinton's basement, where she was giving out classified documents to unsecured people. America's secrets to people who didn't pass through security clearance. So that's where we are now. So we're in the Obama Clinton State Department. And the domain, the ranges, it's because once the Clinton Foundation attached to the Obama Clinton State Department through the signing of the memorandum of understanding by Valerie Jarrett and Bill Clinton, there's the attachment, and that's how it maps. through the Memorandum of Understanding. Now, from there, now it gets even more compelling because the Iranian Global Terror Network, which was present within the United States jurisdiction through the 655th Avenue case, brings this thing to another level because of the Inspector General's report on the State Department server that was in Hillary Clinton's basement. That's statistically significant. The Clinton Foundation's Memorandum of Understanding attaching it to the Obama Clinton State Department. Now that's statistically significant. And then you got the 655th Avenue case where the Clinton Foundation took $105,000 from the Iran Zalevi Foundation. Now, Iran Zalevi Foundation is part of the Iranian terror triad that owned 655th Avenue. Court papers, judge's decision, Preet Bharara and Judge Catherine Forrest ruled that the Islamic Republic of Iran, working through the Yasser Corporation, Iran Zalevi Foundation, and U.S. Treasury designated weapons of mass destruction proliferator Bank Melli of Iran, were funneling money through these entities to Iran, to their weapons of mass destruction. They threaded a needle on this, and this is one of the few times where we actually won. They forfeited the property. This 53rd Street and Lexington Avenue, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Shah of Iran owned the building. He went off in exile, and the mullahs took over, and it became nuts. So $105,000 went to the Clinton Foundation. They ruled, both of them were claiming that it was for, two foundations were exchanging charitable donations. So, we didn't do anything wrong. Now, what'll really put this thing over the top because it's out there that this Clinton Foundation conceivably, I'm not the expert on this, it's out there that the Clinton Foundation conceivably is a charitable fraud. And if that's the case, how are they taking this money? How do they not know that Iran Zalevi Foundation is part of the Iranian terror triad that owned 655th Avenue, right in the United States jurisdiction? Because what happened is, after that, it came out through Rachel Effenfeld, American Center for Democracy, Hanskew Case Appendix A, and American Spectator actually claims that they actually went into the Iran Zalevi Foundation and found that Iran Zalevi Foundation gave over $1.4 million to the Blind Sheikh's Mosque. And we know what happened in there. So this is a Shia, just so you understand, this is a Shia organization, this Iran Zalevi Foundation, giving money to the Blind Sheikh's Mosque. That's Sunni. Blind Sheikh is Muslim Brotherhood. Jersey City Mosque, Muhammad al-Nudi, Muslim Brotherhood. Holy Land Foundation with Musa Abu Marzouk, founders of Holy Land Foundation. Hamas financing 246 Muslim Brotherhood front organizations, Holy Land Foundation trial. All went through the Blind Sheikh's Mosque. It is a crazy thing, but this is the beginnings of this criminal enterprise, the Obama-Clinton crime family model. Then you got the 5 Quds Force leaders released, Bergdahl trade, Palestinian Authority, Hamas, Egypt's Muslim Brotherhood's Morsi, they sent money to PA Hamas, Syria, Assad, that whole debacle, Benghazi debacle, and then we got ISIS, which I want to talk a little bit about tonight. But this is the beginnings of this whole. This is the foundation of this whole thing. So I just wanted to go over that a little bit, okay? To give you an idea of what we're doing. So let's quickly go through some of the recent articles. Google denies manipulating search results to favor Hillary Clinton. Now, this is crazy because, I was looking at this and it claims that, okay, so they're going back and forth. Google is claiming that that's not true, and then the Google, on Thursday, SourceFeed posted a video showing how results are manipulated. It explained that when users type Hillary Clinton IND into Google, the top recommendations are India and Indiana. When users type the same thing into competitors Bing or Yahoo, the top result is indictment, a word that doesn't appear anywhere in Google's recommendations. The disparity came in spite of the fact that indictment is searched on Google 8 times more often than Hillary Clinton India. And they showed the examples: crooked H, crooked handle, crooked house, crooked hook, no crooked Hillary. Crooked Hilla, crooked Hillary and Bernie. That's what came up. Bing, crooked H, crooked Hillary. Bing, crooked Hillary. I mean, it's amazing. Similarly, a Google search for Hillary Clinton CRI yields 3 recommendations: crime reform, crisis, crime bill, 1994. This is amazing. Nonetheless, Hillary Clinton criminal record is the more popular term on Google, yielding 1.07 million results. This is great. Mexico says they'll meet with Trump. Yeah, I'm telling you, Trump's doing a lot better than people think. And you want to talk a little bit about the polls? Let's do that. Okay, you know, I'm a statistics guy, and one day I'm an amateur scientist, and one day I'd like to get into a professional, a graduate program in physics and really pursue it. I'm working toward it. I study a lot, and I'm telling you, these polls are a problem in a lot of ways. Poll: 40% of Texans support succession if Hillary wins. Now, a new poll reveals that if Hillary were to win an election in November, 40% of Texans. Is that true? Is that absolutely? I mean, that's why you look at the. Now, this is a poll. Is this true that 40% of Texans is it true? 40%? Probably not. I'd have to see all of the data, because that's why the Real Clear Politics is a good thing, because at least it averages all of the polls. Because basically you're looking for trends, inferences, and some sort of, in all likelihood and all probability. This is a predictor. It's not, and you can't say that one poll is a reflection of the entire population. That's not being honest. It's one. Two, these are social science polls, quite frankly. Like in the scientific community, they would refer to these as, can be construed as, some of them, I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of them can be construed as fuzzy science, because the subjectivity, it's not measured. The subjectivity is not measured. So if the subjectivity is not measured, how do you know if they're lying, if they're not lying, if they're just telling you, what, for whatever? These are phone conversations. These respondents are being interviewed, right? How do we know? Believe me, I want to believe that 40% of Texas would support succession if Hillary wins. I want to believe that, but in all honesty, I don't know if I can actually say that that's true. Now, if they had a big sample of Texas, we might be able to garner, and we'd have to have some sort of mechanism on the other end. Texas deputy seizes $6 million in meth during traffic stop. A Texas deputy sheriff and his K9 partner took another $6 million worth of meth off the streets following a traffic stop. This deputy has seized nearly 16 million in drugs over the past 2 years. Crazy. Aetna ditches 75% of its Obamacare coverage. Now, this thing with these 15 detainees, released. Gitmo released 50 detainees to the UAE. I wonder what kind of money Trump sent over. I wonder what, not Trump, I'm sorry. I was thinking about Trump because of I meant Obama. I was thinking about Trump because of the time is overdue to develop a new screening test. That was the next one I'm going to talk about. So, 15 prisoners at Gitmo detention were sent to UAE. Now, the UAE transfer of 12 Yemen nationals and 3 Afghans. The Pentagon says, and it's like a 1 in 3 retention. In other words, 1 in 3 of these detainees go back. So what they do is, in order to justify Obama's release, they say that Bush released 530 prisoners were released from Gitmo. So that's how they justify. But I'm just curious what money was sent over there, because they're not talking money. They don't show the money. UAE sent some money, bro. UAE's getting some money on to take those prisoners. Come on, man. It's Frankie Russo. The time is overdue to develop a new screening test, Donald Trump says, in reference to the refugee immigration process. He said he wants immigration applicants vetted on their stance on issues like religious freedom, gender equality, gay rights. The policy would represent a significant shift in how the U.S. manages entry into the country. He calls it extreme vetting, stated that those who do not believe in the U.S. Constitution and who support bigotry and hatred will not be allowed in this country. We should not admit into this country those we should only admit those into this country who share our values and respect our people. Trump claimed that many recent terror attacks in the U.S. have been carried out by immigrants or the children of the immigrants. He would temporarily suspend immigration from nations with a history of exporting terrorism and would ask the State Department for a list of regions where screening is not completely adequate. Interesting. He made a great, I mean, Trump's been on fire recently. He made some great presentations. ISIS terrorist tells feds he has jihadist brothers in Mexico, confirming Judicial Watch reports. Wow. ISIS terrorist, an ISIS operative arrested and criminally charged in Ohio this month has confirmed that the terrorist group has cells in Mexico. According to federal authorities, Judicial Watch, great group, has reported, and they are nonpartisan. They went after Bush when they thought he was doing the wrong thing. Has reported this for years, documented in a series of articles as part of an ongoing investigation on the connection between drug cartels, corruption, terrorism on the southern border. In fact, last spring, Judicial Watch broke a story about an ISIS camp just a few miles from El Paso, Texas, in the area known as Anapara, situated just west of Ciudad Juarez in the Mexican state of Chihuahua. I'm good. I'm good. Frankie Russo's good. I can speak Spanish. You know, I'm good. This is interesting stuff, right? This is a real kicker. Joe Biden exposes military aid with nuclear codes during campaign rally, and they're saying Trump's unhinged. Here's a vice president, one heartbeat away from the presidency. Wall Street, they're gonna all put you in chains. They want to unchain Wall Street. Sheriff, this is Joe Biden. Revealed during a campaign, he had military aid with the codes present at the event. There's a guy that follows me right back here, has the nuclear codes turning and pointing. So God forbid anything happened to the president, I had to make a decisions, and the codes are with me. That's scary, man. Bragged about how the codes were with him, and he said Trump was not qualified. Yo, you can't make this stuff up. Between Hillary Clinton and her State Department server in the basement of her house, we got ransom mystery. The Iran ransom mystery deepens. Feds won't divulge timing of the critical 1.3 billion payment. Man, somebody's getting paid over in Iran. I just can't believe that these OGs like Obama and Hillary are not getting paid off. And Bill must be salivating at the bit about Iran because he got paid off with North Korea. U.S. officials, here's an interesting one. U.S. officials up to 100,000 Iran-backed fighters in Iraq. Look at this. Look at this. Why am I not shocked? Between this and what I found out, about, um, yeah, because there's this group called Badur organization in uh, Tikrit, Tikrit. They get they're sponsored by Iran. Quds Force is there. Matter of fact, the Quds Force, it's my understanding that they're floating, they're getting paid through the floating currency in the Iraqi banks, according to Kenneth Timmerman. Billions of dollars. Quds Force. Yeah. So 100,000 Iran-backed fighters now in Iraq. Wow. The ranks were swelled inside a network of Shia militias known as the Popular Mobilization Forces. Since the rise of the Sunni, you see this. I watched this thing. I watched this thing, Fighting ISIS. It's an HBO documentary. Now I'm going to throw my disclaimer out there. I haven't been to Iraq. I haven't been to Iran. I haven't been to anything like that. Kenneth Timmerman's been there. Claire Lopez has been there. Dr. Bruce Teft has been there. All these cats have been over there. Frankie Russo hasn't. So I'm on the outside looking in. I saw this video, Fighting ISIS. In all intents and purposes, the fighters that are fighting ISIS and ISIS are Sunni militias. They're JV squads. I believe they are. And Ken Tillman confirmed it when he talked about Ansar al-Sharia. Now, let's look at Benghazi. It's interesting. Let's look at Benghazi for a second. I don't know. Outside looking in, right? Frankie Russo, let me hit me kid from Brooklyn, outside looking in, right? What do we know? We know 4 Americans got killed. We know that they lied to us about the processes and what went down and why they didn't get, they weren't helped. They were basically left there to die. And it's a very unfortunate thing that happened to our brave men and women of the United States Armed Forces and in Benghazi. And, you got to watch that movie 13 Hours because you watch the movie 13 Hours, you'll stand up. You feel, I mean, they were just amazing people over there in Benghazi. That being said, what really happened over there? What was really going on? We know one thing, according to Claire Lopez, Kenneth Timmerman, pre-Benghazi was this whole thing with the jihadists out in the street. Gaddafi had a coup d'etat, right, in '69. He was celebrating. He was feeling good, according to what Claire Lopez was saying and others. He's feeling good. His son tells him to release them. The U.S. Embassy has come out, told him to release them. He releases these jihadists. For example, a gentleman named Sufran bin Kumu. Sufran bin Kumu was a Gitmo detainee in 2007. He was released to Libya and was put into the Tripoli prison and was set free in Tripoli prison, I think 2010, 2011, right? And they got together, and then Obama and Hillary Clinton had this brainstorming. And quite frankly, when I think about Libya, how do they arrive to taking out Gaddafi when, like, I don't understand. I found out through some research that Gaddafi handed over his P1s and centrifuges, his nuclear devices, to Bush. So he gave up on the WMDs. Why are they whacking this guy? I don't know. But I know weapons were going in from the UAE, $1 billion of weapons according to Claire Lopez, and had the zero operation footprint, the Obama Clinton administration. And then you had the Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Qatar. And then the whacking of the General Yunus, because Mustafa Jalal, who was heading up this whole operation with the Libyan Islamic Fighting Group, with Abdel Hakim Belhaj, Muslim Brotherhood operatives, transnational council they ran, and quite frankly, what happened was over here. From that, they whacked General Yunus because they were afraid, because Mustafa Jalal sold the weapons back to the Gaddafi regime, and they were afraid that Yunus found out. So he ordered Abu Khatala, who we captured for Benghazi. This is nuts, right? So the reason why I'm bringing this up, right? So we got that, and then we got Benghazi, where we got this Ansar al-Sharia, this Al Qaeda affiliate, according to Tillerman and Claire Lopez, and it wasn't the video, it wasn't Ayman al-Zawahiri's video claiming that was Abu Yahya al-Libi, that they were whacking the Benghazi mission because of the killing of a drone strike on Abu Yahya al-Libi, confirmed by Reuters, another fraudulent group, right? And it's come out, Kenneth Tillman went out there, and it's come out that it's the Quds Force with General Soleimani and Hezbollah that did the hit on Benghazi. So why am I saying this? Because I'm trying to bring this to Iraq. ISIS and Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda in Iraq, ISIS. I can't get it out of my head that I'm not over there, so I'm not there. Outside looking in. Obviously, the fighters that are fighting, these mercenary fighters that are fighting, quote unquote, ISIS, Sunni militia, whatever, JV squad. ISIS, JV squad. The pros, the Shiite militias, sponsored by Iran, in Iraq. Sound familiar? Right? Maliki, I found out through my research, had a rigged election in 2010, but Obama sat on his hand and allowed Maliki to stay in. He's a Shiite leader, and he had very close ties to Iran. So we got this going on. If you're America, who do you really want to? Who do you think you would support? I mean, who do you think? I mean, you would like to see if you could do something with Iran, but quite frankly, you can't. But Iran. It'd be insane to try to think that you could actually work with Iran. I mean, you're only playing yourself, quite frankly. Iran's history of the global terror network, where they just crush the Sunni Shia divide that everybody believes, which is true, but within the Iranian global terror network, it doesn't exist. They have their nexuses in all these terror entities, these Sunni terror entities. So what do we, so this reminds me, this ISIS thing reminds me of like Benghazi in a lot of ways, because you got this fronting of this ISIS, this Sunni militia that everybody's buying into, that I'm not saying doesn't exist, but I don't believe it's even close to the sophistication of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps with the Quds Force with General Soleimani. Iran is by far more sophisticated, like they showed in Benghazi, and like they're showing over here in Iraq. So conceivably, I'm getting more data, and I don't have time because I'm running out of time. But I believe that, because I know where the sources are, and we can come up with a very, that maybe ISIS could be, I'm not saying it could, I'm going to make it, I think I'm close with the data, it could be statistically significant, that at the least, Iran is materially supporting ISIS, because it's a great ruse. The press is buying it. ISIS is everywhere. ISIS. The press is buying it. They bought into it. They get these videos, and they just play the game with everybody. And really, when it comes down to it, there's no way, in my mind, and what I read from Jerusalem Post documentation, they came out. I don't have the article in front of me, but there's no way that Iran's going to allow a Sunni militia to go rogue in their region. There's no way. Just no way. So that's that. Mexico president says willing to meet with Trump. Iran to charge detained man with threatening. They took another one hostage. Why am I not shocked? They should close the riff up. Why doesn't yeah, they took another. Iran to charge detained U.S. man with threatening country's national security. So we'll call up Zarif, like he did when they kidnapped the Americans in Iraq. We'll call up Zarif. That's what Kerry said. Zarif was the guy who was the minister of foreign affairs with Iran. He's the chief negotiator in the fake Iranian nuke deal, conceivably. So we'll call Zarif up, and we'll handle it like that. What's really crazy, Hezbollah. Hezbollah, um, Twitter manipulating. Oh, I don't want to forget this. Hillary Clinton searches. I saw this. I just don't want to forget this because I got something with Google. Twitter. I got Twitter manipulating too, and we got this other one. Um, Hezbollah, right? Hezbollah. Hezbollah. Oh, NCTC. Let me go to nctc.gov. I just want to get this off my desk. Obama administration is providing aid to Hezbollah terrorist group. I spoke about this last week. I wasn't even aware of it. I got it through the reading of the articles that we're thinking that they're using these drones. It's thousands of hits of drones. I think this is the most in the history of the presidencies that Obama has used drones. You know? Merkel didn't bring Islamic terrorism to Germany. Angela Merkel says refugees didn't bring Islamic terrorism to Germany. Trump's right. Hillary Clinton's going to be another Merkel. Angela Merkel from Germany. Oh, refugees didn't bring Islamic terrorism to Germany. Wow. You saying it? She says that with a straight face too. That's crazy. So they got these drones and what's happening? What I found out was, according to the Washington Post, the drones are actually acting as providing intelligence to Hezbollah. Okay, here we go. Let's get this. Let's get this. You know what? I'm gonna I'm gonna get out of here. Get ready for tonight. Okay? I think I hit almost everything. I just want to see the groups. I want to see Hezbollah for a second. I'm on the counterterrorism guide. We got Joe Biden, Cam Newton. That's my gangster right there. Newton Chris. Newton's. This guy Newton. I love Cam. Cam Newton's one of my favorite athletes right now, for many reasons. I may talk about this tonight too. We'll see. It's the Frankie Russo show. Yeah. Pre-show. See you in about a half hour. You got to help America's team help the men and women of the United States Armed Forces fight post-traumatic stress disorder. Yeah. I'll see you in about a half hour.